This is the 2019 Chevrolet Bolt in the Premier trim level, and as it stands here, it costs 51,250 Canadian dollars. And with the rebate now gone, it's pretty hard to digest how such a small car can be so big money. I mean, before, when the rebate was in effect, people would just lease this thing, get the whole 14 grand off the price of the car, and then that would leave them with very reasonable lease payments. But now, there's a problem. And of course, the problem is that the Bolt is a very nice $30,000 car. Only now, it's $51,000 and change. But anyway, let's kind of ignore the fact that nobody's probably going to buy this thing until GM starts offering some pretty decent discounts. And let's see how good of a car it is otherwise. New for 2019 is this color called Shock, which also happens to be the state my balls are currently in because of this freezing weather. So I'm just going to hop back into the car. It's a pretty good looking thing, but I have to say, the one thing that really bothers me are the turn signals. My brother-in-law Paul pointed out that the bulbs are typical classical bulbs, not LED or anything futuristic fancy. I mean, come on, this is supposed to be the future. Inside it looks really cool too, until you feel it up, because then you realize that those wicked looking plastics in gloss and textured white actually feel pretty cheap. At least the fit is really good. There are no unwanted soundtracks because, especially in an EV, you really don't want that. Finish, however, could be a bit better as there are a few rough joints, but overall this interior is funky and fresh, so I like it. The screens are big and bright and have very high resolution, so they're very nice to look at, and the infotainment system is simple, easy, and functional. Roominess is really good considering the exterior dimensions of the car. 4 adults will sit very happily, but the front seats aren't ideal for long duration trips. The rear seats are very generous in terms of both legroom and headroom, and you have 2 USB ports for your kids to keep their tablets charged, because with the 4G LTE connectivity on board, you'll be needing that. The trunk has a removable adjustable floor, and it gets quite big once you remove it and make it all one thing. It's rated at 478 liters, and it looks as big. The Bolt is powered by a single electric motor that sends power to the front wheels via a single-speed automatic transmission. It makes 200 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque, and let me tell you, performance is, the least I can say, entertaining. I mean, this thing feels like a hot hatch because it can hit 100 kilometers an hour in like 6.5 seconds, obviously not in the snow, but you know what? It makes it very fun to drive, and it kind of compensates for the really bad weight distribution this thing probably has. And I say that because handling is, in a word, terrible. I'm guessing it's pretty rear heavy because when you go hard on the accelerator, if you want to call it that, it constantly spins the tires, and if it finds somehow the grip, you have crazy torque steer. It's like a Focus ST in here. So, you know what? Especially in these winter conditions where everything is really slippery, it really reveals these weaknesses and kind of amplifies them, because this thing, honestly, in the snow, it's not the most fun car I've ever driven. I can actually say it's pretty bad. And I can't even blame the tires, because this thing is on Michelin X Ice, properly sized for the size of the car, so it must be the weight distribution. I mean, this probably is really heavy in the back because all it does is go straight. On the bright side, the suspension is pretty soft and the ride is very nice. So in nice weather and around the city, the Bolt is actually a very nice car to drive. On the highway, however, we have another problem: crosswind vulnerability. That's right, today is a pretty gusty, windy day, and let me tell you, keeping it in the lane on the highway wasn't very easy. The EPA rating is 383 kilometers, although in this cold, I didn't see anything over 200 kilometers, which is significantly lower. And as you can see, my average energy consumption is 30 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which means the battery is 60 kilowatt hours, so I get 200 kilometers. The battery is a lithium-ion pack with 288 cells, which store 60 kilowatt hours. The batteries weigh 960 pounds, and it's backed up by an 8-year or 160,000 kilometer warranty. Charging times vary quite a bit. If you plug this in a 110 volt power outlet at your house, you're going to be getting about 6.4 kilometers of charge per hour, which means from empty to full, it's going to take about 4 days. However, if you have a level 2 charger, like a 240 volt, then it's going to be about 9.3 hours from empty to full, which works great if you can do that overnight. In the DC fast charging, it's supposed to be able to get 140 kilometers in 30 minutes. I did that twice, and the first time I got about 140, 150 kilometers in an hour and a half. Granted, it's very cold outside. And the second time, I got about 160 kilometers in 2 hours and 50 minutes. It is hit and miss, and it also depends on the charger and, its ability to provide you with juice. Overall, I have to say that I really wanted and I do like the Bolt, despite its weaknesses and its problems. But the one thing that I can't get over is the price. With the rebate gone, so is any sensible reason why anybody should buy one. I mean, with a rebate present, and I would even consider leasing one because it's fun for around town. It's great. Overall score is an unfortunate 6 out of 10, mainly because of the weak handling and the price without the rebate.